My brothers and sisters, as the sun sets on the last day of Ramadan, many hearts feel relief. Relief that the fasting is over. Relief that the long nights have ended. Relief that Eid has arrived. But let me ask you something honestly. What if the most dangerous moment of your entire Ramadan is the night before Eid? What if everything you built for 30 days can begin to collapse in just one night? Because this night is not just a transition, it is a test. A test of whether Ramadan changed you or whether you were only temporarily disciplined. Eid is not the end. Eid is the evidence. And tonight is where that evidence begins. Tonight is not an ordinary night. This is not just the night before a celebration. This is not just the end of a month. This is not just the closing of a routine you followed for 30 days. This is the night where your Ramadan is being sealed. Everything you did over the past month, every fast, every prayer, every tear, every moment of restraint, every time you chose Allah over your desires, it is all being presented. And now comes a question that no one around you can answer. Was it accepted? You see, many people misunderstand Ramadan. They think the goal is to complete it, to reach the end, to tick the boxes, to say, I fasted all 30 days, I prayed, I did my part. But the righteous never thought like this. They did not celebrate completion. They worried about acceptance, because starting is easy, even finishing is possible. But being accepted, that is something only Allah controls. And that is why, as Ramadan would come to an end, their hearts would become heavier, not lighter. They would begin to question themselves deeply, not with pride, but with humility, not with confidence, but with concern. Because they understood something we often forget. Allah does not look at the quantity alone. He looks at the sincerity. He looks at the al behind the action. He looks at whether you were present or just performing. So tonight, instead of becoming distracted, instead of rushing into shopping, gatherings, messages, laughter and noise without any reflection, pause, slow down, sit with yourself, even if just for a few minutes. Because this moment, this quiet moment, could be more valuable than many hours of distraction. Ask yourself honestly, what did Ramadan do to me? Not what did I do in Ramadan, but what did Ramadan do to me? Did it change how I think? Did it change how I speak? Did it change how I see Allah? Did it change how I see my sins? Or did I simply adjust my schedule for 30 days and now I am ready to return to exactly who I was before? Because if nothing inside you changed, then Ramadan has not done what it was meant to do. And this is a hard truth, but it is a necessary one. Ramadan was not sent to exhaust you. It was sent to transform you. It was sent to soften your heart. It was sent to break your attachment to this dunya. It was sent to reconnect you with Allah in a way that stays, not disappears. So ask yourself, when I stood in prayer, was I present or was I waiting for it to end? When I made dua, did I feel it or was I just repeating words? When I avoided sin, was it because I feared Allah or because it was Ramadan and everyone else was doing the same? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary questions, because accountability begins with honesty. And tonight is a night of accountability. My brothers and sisters, do not misunderstand this moment. This is not about making you feel hopeless. This is not about making you feel like everything is lost. No. This is about waking you up before it is too late. Because as long as you are aware, you can still turn back to Allah. As long as your heart is still questioning, it means there is still life in it. So if you look at yourself and you feel like you fell short, then turn to Allah tonight. Speak to Him, not with perfect words, but with a sincere heart. Admit your weaknesses, admit your distractions, admit that you could have done better. Because Allah does not expect perfection. He expects sincerity. And sometimes one moment of real sincerity is more powerful than an entire month of routine. So do not let this night pass like any other night. Do not allow yourself to enter Eid without reflection. Because Eid is not just a celebration. It is a moment that reflects what came before it. If your Ramadan was meaningful, your Eid will feel different. If your Ramadan was empty, your Eid will feel empty too, even if everything around you looks joyful. that emptiness, that feeling that something is missing, that is the heart telling you that it needed more. So listen to it. Do not silence it with distractions. Do not cover it with noise, because this might be the one moment where your heart is speaking honestly to you. And if you respond to it now, if you take this night seriously, if you turn to Allah with sincerity, then this night could become the most valuable night of your entire Ramadan. Because sometimes the end is where everything is decided. So my brothers and sisters, before you sleep tonight, before you step into Eid, take a moment, be honest, be sincere, and ask Allah for acceptance. Because in the end, nothing matters more than that. My brothers and sisters, Eid arrives with joy. Homes are filled with laughter. People greet one another. Messages are sent. Smiles are shared. The atmosphere feels light, uplifting, and full of happiness. And there is nothing wrong with that. Eid is a gift from Allah. It is a day of celebration. But there is a reality behind this day that many people do not stop to think about. Eid is not a reward for everyone. Yes, everyone experiences the day. Everyone wears new clothes. Everyone eats, gathers, and celebrates. But not everyone receives the reward behind it. Because the true reward of Eid is not the food, not the clothing, not the gatherings. The true reward of Eid is acceptance. And acceptance is not something you can see. It is not something people can congratulate you for. It is something that exists between you and Allah alone. You see, many people assume that because they completed Ramadan, they have succeeded. They think, I fasted, I prayed, I stayed away from food and drink, so now Eid is my reward. But listen carefully, completion is not success. Acceptance is success. There were people before us from the righteous who would complete Ramadan, and instead of celebrating immediately, they would cry. Not because they were sad that Ramadan ended, but because they were afraid that their efforts were not accepted, afraid that they stood, fasted and worshipped, but it did not reach Allah in the way they hoped. And this fear was not weakness, it was awareness. They understood who Allah is. They understood the weight of ibadat. They understood that even a small naqs in sincerity can affect the outcome. So while we prepare for Eid with excitement, they prepared for Eid with reflection. They asked themselves, did I truly fast or did I just stay hungry? Did I truly pray or did I just move my body? Did I truly remember Allah or did I just repeat words? Because ibadat without presence can become habits, and habits without sincerity can become empty. My brothers and sisters, do not misunderstand this. This is not meant to remove your joy. Islam does not teach us to be miserable. Eid is a day of happiness, but it is a happiness that comes from something deeper. A happiness that comes from knowing, or at least hoping, that Allah accepted your efforts. And that kind of happiness is different. It is not loud, it is not shallow, it is calm, it is grateful, it is humble, because you know that you did not earn it on your own. You know that it was Allah who allowed you to fast, Allah who gave you strength, Allah who guided you, Allah who covered your shortcomings. So your joy becomes mixed with humility, your smile becomes mixed with gratitude, your celebration becomes mixed with awareness. But the problem today is that many people separate Eid from Ramadan. They treat it as something completely different, as if Ramadan was ibadat and Eid is just enjoyment, as if one has nothing to do with the other. And that is where the danger lies. Because when Eid is disconnected from Ramadan, it loses its meaning. It becomes just another day. And the heart does not feel anything beyond surface level happiness. So ask yourself honestly, what does Eid mean to me? Is it just a day to eat, dress up and meet people? Or is it a day where I feel something deeper inside? Do I feel grateful? Do I feel relieved? Do I feel hopeful that Allah accepted me? Or do I feel nothing beyond the excitement of the moment? Because that feeling is an indicator. It tells you something about your Ramadan. My brothers and sisters, imagine two people standing on Eid morning, both wearing nice clothes, both smiling, both surrounded by family. From the outside, they look exactly the same. But inside, they are completely different. One of them feels peace, a quiet sense of relief. a hope that Allah has forgiven them, a feeling that something inside them has changed. The other feels temporary happiness, but no depth, no connection, no reflection, just a passing moment. And this difference is not visible to people, but it is known to Allah, and it is felt in the heart. So do not be deceived by appearances. Do not measure success by how your Eid looks. Measure it by how your heart feels. And if you feel that something is missing, if you feel that your Ramadan was not what it should have been, then do not ignore that feeling, because that awareness is a gift. It means your heart is still alive. It means you still care. And as long as you care, you can still turn back to Allah, even on Eid, even after Ramadan. Because Allah is not limited to a month. His mercy is not limited to a time. So if you feel regret, turn that regret into dua. If you feel you fell short, turn that into sincerity. Ask Allah to accept what you did. Ask Him to overlook your shortcomings. Ask Him to allow your Eid to be a true reward, not just a temporary celebration. Because in the end, my brothers and sisters, Eid is not defined by what you wear. It is not defined by what you eat. It is not defined by how you celebrate. Eid is defined by one thing, whether Allah accepted you, and that is something only He knows. So celebrate, but do not forget. Smile, but remain humble. Enjoy, but stay connected. Because the true joy of Eid is not in the moment. It is in the acceptance behind it. There is something very uncomfortable, but very honest that we must face. Ramadan does not prove who you are. What comes after Ramadan proves who you are. Because during Ramadan, the environment supports you. Shaitan is chained. The masajid are full. Everyone around you is fasting, praying, trying. It becomes easier to do good, easier to stay away from sin, easier to follow ibadat. You are not alone in your effort. But after Ramadan, that support begins to disappear. The environment changes. The pressure reduces. The routine breaks. And suddenly you are left with one thing, your true self. And this is where reality shows. This is where the test actually begins. Because anyone can be good when everything around them is pushing them toward good. But who are you when that push is gone? Who are you when no one is reminding you? Who are you when it becomes easy to slip again? My brothers and sisters, do not misunderstand this. Ramadan is powerful. It changes people. But not everyone allows that change to stay. Some people treat Ramadan like a temporary upgrade. They improve, but only for a fixed time. And as soon as the month ends, they slowly return to their old habits. Not immediately, but gradually. One prayer missed, then another. One bad habit returns, then another. Until eventually they are back to where they started. And sometimes even worse, because now they have tasted guidance and still chose to leave it. And this is a dangerous place to be, because the heart becomes harder, the guilt becomes weaker, the awareness fades, and sin begins to feel normal again. That is why the scholars used to say, the worst sign of a rejected deed is that it is followed by disobedience. And the best sign of an accepted deed is that it is followed by obedience. So look at your life after Ramadan, not your intentions, not your plans. Your actions, are you still holding on to something? Are you still protecting your salah? Are you still making time for Quran? Are you still conscious of your speech, your eyes, your behavior? Or have you already started letting things go? Because this is not about perfection. No one expects you to maintain the exact same level as Ramadan. That is not realistic. But a complete drop is a warning. It means Ramadan did not settle in your heart. It only passed through your routine. My brothers and sisters, let me make this simple. If Ramadan was real for you, it will leave traces. It will leave something behind. Maybe you are not praying long nights anymore, but you still protect your 5 daily prayers. Maybe you are not reading large portions of Quran, but you still read something regularly. Maybe you are not in the masjid as often, but you still feel a pull toward it. These small continuations, these small efforts, they are not small in the sight of Allah. They are signs, signs that your heart was touched, signs that Ramadan did something inside you. But if everything disappears, if your life returns exactly to what it was before, then you have to be honest with yourself. Something is wrong, and ignoring it will not fix it. My brothers and sisters, this is where many people make a critical mistake. They say, Ramadan is over, I will try again next year. But who guaranteed you next year? Who promised you another Ramadan? You were given this one, and now it has passed. So what you do after it is not a small matter. It is part of your accountability. It is part of your relationship with Allah. And it is part of your journey toward Him. So do not treat this period casually. Do not let yourself drift. Because drifting is how people lose everything they built. Instead, hold on to something. Even if it feels small, even if it feels insignificant, because consistency is not about doing everything. It is about not leaving everything. And Allah loves consistency, even if it is little, even if it is quiet, even if no one sees it. So choose something you will not leave. Choose something you will protect and hold on to it no matter what. Because that one thing could be the thread that keeps you connected to Ramadan. My brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, your Ramadan is not judged by how it started. It is not even judged by how it ended. It is judged by what it produced in you. Did it create a new version of you, or did it just interrupt the old one? And that answer will become clear, not in Ramadan, but after it. So watch yourself carefully. Be honest with yourself, and do not be deceived by a temporary effort, because the true success of Ramadan is not in the month itself. It is in what remains long after it is gone. My brothers and sisters, one of the most dangerous thoughts that can enter the mind at the end of Ramadan is this: I'm done with fasting, done with the effort, done with the discipline, done with pushing yourself, and now it's time to relax. But listen carefully, this thought is not harmless, it is a trap. Because the moment you believe the journey is over, you begin to disconnect from everything Ramadan was trying to build inside you. You begin to lower your guard. You begin to let things slide. You begin to return slowly, quietly, back to the version of yourself you were before. And you don't even realize it at first. It feels small. It feels normal. It feels like you're just taking a break. But that break becomes distance. And that distance becomes disconnection. My brothers and sisters, Ramadan was never meant to be the destination. It was never meant to be a box you check once a year. It was a training ground, a period of intense discipline designed to reshape you, to show you what you are capable of, to prove to you that you can control your desires, to remind you that you can live with less and still be strong, to reconnect you with Allah in a way that you had forgotten. But what is the point of training if you abandon everything after it ends? Imagine someone who trains hard for 30 days. They wake up early, they push themselves, they build strength, they develop discipline. And then the moment the training ends, they stop everything. No structure, no consistency, no continuation. What happens? They lose it slowly at first, then completely. And eventually, it is as if they never trained at all. This is exactly what happens spiritually to many people after Ramadan. They build something, but they do not protect it. They improve, but they do not maintain it. They taste closeness to Allah, but they do not fight to keep it. And the result is predictable. They go back, not always immediately, but gradually, until the athar of Ramadan disappears. My brothers and sisters, Shaitan is patient. He does not always try to destroy you in one moment. He works slowly, quietly. He waits until Ramadan ends. He waits until your guard is down, and then he begins. Not with something big, but with something small. A missed prayer, a delay, a distraction, a return to something you left. And once that door opens, it becomes easier to open the next one. And the next one, until you find yourself far from where you were, without even realizing how you got there. That is why thinking the journey is over is one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because it leaves you unprotected, it leaves you unaware, it leaves you vulnerable. My brothers and sisters, understand this clearly. Your journey with Allah does not end with Ramadan. It does not pause after Eid. It does not slow down because the month has finished. If anything, it becomes more real, Because now you are not being carried by the environment. Now you are walking on your own. Now your sincerity is being tested in a different way. Will you still pray when no one is reminding you? Will you still lower your gaze when it becomes easy not to? Will you still remember Allah when your schedule becomes busy again? Will you still choose discipline when comfort becomes available again? This is the real test. And this test does not come with the same support. It comes with ease, but also with risk. Because it is easy to slip, easy to forget, easy to delay, easy to say, I'll fix it tomorrow. And tomorrow turns into days. Days turn into weeks. And suddenly, Ramadan feels like a distant memory. My brothers and sisters, do not let that happen. Do not allow Ramadan to become just something you experienced instead of something that changed you. Because if Ramadan did not change you, then what did it do? If you return to the same habits, the same mindset, the same distance from Allah, then what was the purpose of all that effort? This is not to make you feel guilty. This is to make you aware. Because awareness is what protects you. So instead of thinking it's over, change your mindset. Say to yourself, this is the beginning of a more consistent life, the beginning of a stronger connection, the beginning of a version of you that does not need Ramadan to be disciplined. And this shift is everything. Because when you see Eid as the starting point, you carry Ramadan forward. You do not leave it behind. My brothers and sisters, you do not need to continue everything at the same level. That is not realistic. But you do need to continue something. You need anchors, things that keep you connected, things that remind you, things that protect you from slipping completely. Because without anchors, you drift. And drifting always leads you away. So choose your anchors carefully. Your salah must remain non-negotiable. Your connection with the Quran must not disappear. Your awareness of Allah must stay alive. Even if it is less than Ramadan, it must still exist. Because that existence is what keeps the journey alive. My brothers and sisters, the biggest loss is not that Ramadan ended. The biggest loss is when its athar ends inside you. When its impact fades, when its lessons disappear, when its discipline is forgotten, that is the real loss. So protect yourself from that. Do not be fooled by the feeling that you are done, because you are not done. You are only being tested in a different way now. And the one who understands this, the one who continues even in small ways, the one who refuses to return to who they were before, that is the one who truly benefited from Ramadan. That is the one whose journey did not end, but finally began. Eid is described as a day of joy, a day of happiness, a day where the believer expresses gratitude to Allah. But we need to understand something very clearly, because most people misunderstand what gratitude actually means. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It is not just smiling, dressing well, eating good food and spending time with family. All of that is part of Eid, yes. But if that is all your Eid becomes, then you have reduced something very deep into something very surface level. Gratitude in Islam is not simply an emotion, it is a state of the heart that shows itself through actions. It is recognition first, then humility, and then obedience. It begins when you truly realize what Allah has done for you. And then that realization changes how you behave. So when you reach Eid, the question is not just, are you happy? The real question is, do you understand what you were given? Allah allowed you to witness Ramadan. That alone is not something small. There are people who were with us last year who are not here today. There are people who intended to fast this Ramadan but never reached it. There are people who started Ramadan but did not live to see its end. And yet you are here, standing at the edge of Eid, having completed something millions did not get the chance to complete. If that realization does not humble you, then you have missed something important. Then think deeper. Allah did not just allow you to witness Ramadan, He allowed you to worship Him. He gave you the ability to fast, the strength to stand in prayer, the time to remember Him, the fursa to turn back to Him. Many people have the time but they do not use it. Many people have the ability but they do not act. Many people hear reminders but their hearts do not move. But your heart moved. even if it was imperfect, even if it was inconsistent, even if it was not at the level it should have been, there was movement, and that movement itself is a gift. So when Eid comes, your heart should not just feel excitement, it should feel humility, because you know that nothing you did was purely from you. It was Allah who enabled you, it was Allah who guided you, it was Allah who covered your shortcomings and allowed you to continue despite your flaws. And when a person truly understands this, their gratitude changes, it becomes quieter, deeper and more sincere. But here is where many people make a mistake. They separate gratitude from obedience. They say Alhamdulillah with their tongues, but their actions begin to contradict that statement immediately. They thank Allah in words, but then they step into Eid and allow themselves to fall into things they were avoiding for 30 days. They forget their prayers, they become careless with their speech, they return to habits they had left, and they think that as long as they are smiling and saying Eid Mubarak, they are being grateful. That is not gratitude, because real gratitude protects the gift you were given. If someone gives you something valuable, you do not throw it away the next day. You hold on to it, you protect it, you treat it with care. Ramadan was a gift. The discipline you built was a gift. The connection you felt was a gift. The softness in your heart was a gift. So how can gratitude mean that you let all of that go the moment Eid arrives? My brothers and sisters, gratitude is shown by continuation. It is shown by al-hifadh ala what you built. It is shown by making sure that what you gained in Ramadan does not disappear as soon as the month ends. You may reduce the level. You may not be able to maintain everything, but you do not abandon everything. Because abandoning everything is not gratitude, it is negligence. And understand this clearly. The more you recognize the favor of Allah upon you, the more careful you become. You begin to fear losing what you were given. You begin to protect your connection. You begin to value even the smallest act of worship, because you know how easy it is to lose consistency once you let go. That awareness itself is a form of gratitude, because it keeps you close to Allah. Eid in its true meaning is a day where your heart says, Ya Allah, you allowed me and I am grateful. And that gratitude is not just in celebration, it is in restraint, it is in remembrance, it is in staying connected even while you are enjoying what is halal for you. You eat, you celebrate, you meet people, but you do not forget Allah in the process. Your heart remains aware, your salah remains protected, your character remains controlled. That balance is what makes Eid meaningful. If Eid becomes a day where Allah is forgotten, then something is wrong. Because how can you celebrate the gift while forgetting the one who gave it? How can you express gratitude while disconnecting from the one you are supposed to be grateful to? This is the contradiction many people fall into without realizing it. So pause and ask yourself honestly, what does my Eid look like beyond the surface? Is my heart hadar with Allah, or am I completely distracted? Am I carrying the athar of Ramadan into this day, or have I already left it behind? Because your answer to this question will tell you whether your gratitude is real or just a routine. My brothers and sisters, the beauty of Islam is that it does not ask you to choose between joy and ibadat. It allows both. You can celebrate and still be connected. You can be happy and still be mindful. You can enjoy Eid and still protect your relationship with Allah. But this only happens when your understanding of gratitude is correct. Gratitude is not noise. It is not just visible excitement. It is a quiet awareness that stays with you even in moments of joy. It is a qalb that does not forget, even when the environment becomes light and celebratory. It is a commitment that says, I will not lose what Allah gave me. So as you enter Eid, do not just focus on how you look, where you go, or what you eat. Focus on your heart. Focus on your connection. Focus on whether you are carrying Ramadan forward or leaving it behind. Because at the end of the day, my brothers and sisters, the one who is truly grateful is not the one who celebrates the most. The one who is truly grateful is the one who remains connected to Allah even after the celebration begins. My brothers and sisters, there is something very dangerous that happens after a period of discipline, and most people do not notice it until it is too late. When you spend 30 days building something, you become familiar with the effort, but you underestimate how fragile what you built actually is. Ramadan gave you structure, it gave you rhythm, it gave you a certain level of control over yourself. You woke up at specific times, you restrained your desires, you became more conscious of your actions, and slowly, without even realizing it, you started becoming a different person. But understand this clearly. What you built in Ramadan is real, but it is not permanent unless you protect it. It is like something newly planted. It has roots, but those roots are still weak. If you leave it unattended, if you expose it to the wrong conditions, if you stop caring for it, it will not survive. And this is exactly what happens to many people after Ramadan. They think the hard part is over, so they relax completely. They drop the structure, they remove the discipline, they open the doors they had closed, and then they are surprised when everything begins to collapse. The collapse does not happen in one moment. It happens quietly. It begins with small compromises, a prayer delayed without concern, a habit returning that you had left, a moment of carelessness that you justify because Ramadan is over. And these small compromises, when repeated, start to undo everything you built. Because what you built required effort, but losing it requires nothing. Losing it happens naturally when you stop protecting it. My brothers and sisters, you need to understand the nature of the nafs. It always pulls you back to what is easy, what is familiar, what is comfortable. Ramadan forced you to rise above that. It forced you to prove that you are not controlled by your desires. But after Ramadan, the nafs begins to push again. It begins to whisper, you did enough, relax now, you can go back a little. And if you listen to it without awareness, that little becomes everything. This is why protection is necessary. Not intensity, but protection. You are not required to maintain the exact same level as Ramadan. That would be unrealistic for most people. But you are required to hold on to the core. You are required to make sure that what you gained does not disappear completely. Because the difference between someone who benefited from Ramadan and someone who did not is not how they performed during the month, but how much they preserved after it. Think about this carefully. During Ramadan, you proved to yourself that you can wake up for Fajr, that you can control your tongue, that you can avoid certain sins, that you can make time for the Quran. These are not small things. These are evidences against you and for you. They show you that you are capable. So if you return to neglect after Ramadan, it is not because you are incapable. It is because you chose not to protect what you built. And this is where honesty becomes important. Many people say, I lost my routine. No, you did not just lose it, you let it go. Because routines do not disappear on their own. They fade when they are not maintained. They weaken when they are not valued. And they collapse when they are replaced with something else. So if you want to protect what you built, you need to be intentional. You need to decide that certain things are non-negotiable. Your salah cannot become optional again. It must remain the foundation. No matter how busy you become, no matter how your schedule changes, that connection with Allah must stay firm. Because the moment salah becomes weak, everything else becomes easier to lose. Then you need to hold on to some form of remembrance. It does not have to be long, it does not have to be complicated, but it has to exist, because dhikr keeps your heart alive. And a heart that is alive does not easily return to heedlessness. You also need to protect your awareness. During Ramadan, you were more conscious of what you were doing. You thought before you spoke, you hesitated before committing a sin, you felt a certain muraqabah. That awareness is what made the difference. So do not let that disappear. Even if you slip, remain aware. Because the moment you stop feeling anything, the moment sin feels normal again, that is when you have truly lost something important. My brothers and sisters, protection also means being realistic. Do not set yourself up for failure by trying to maintain everything at once. That is not how consistency works. Choose a few things and commit to them. Build stability first, then grow from there. Because stability is what keeps you grounded. Without it, everything becomes temporary. And understand this clearly. The value of what you built is not in how impressive it looked during Ramadan. It is in how long it stays with you after Ramadan. A small habit that continues is more valuable than a large effort that disappears. A consistent connection is more valuable than an intense but short-lived one. Because Allah loves continuity. He loves that you return again and again, even if your steps are small. So do not underestimate small acts. Do not think they are insignificant. They are the threads that hold everything together. If you hold on to them, they will protect you. If you abandon them, you will slowly fall apart without realizing it. My brothers and sisters, ask yourself honestly, what am I going to protect after Ramadan? Not what do I wish to do, not what do I hope to maintain, but what am I actually going to protect no matter what? Because that answer will shape your entire journey after this month. If you leave this question unanswered, then you will drift. And drifting is dangerous because it feels normal. You do not feel like you are losing anything at first, but over time, the distance grows. The connection weakens. And one day you look back and realize that everything you built is gone. Do not allow that to happen. Be conscious, be intentional, be protective. Because what you built in Ramadan is valuable. It is a gift. It is a fursa that many people wasted and you were given. So treat it like something valuable. Guard it, maintain it, keep it alive, even if it is in a small way. Because in the end, my brothers and sisters, the one who truly benefits from Ramadan is not the one who did the most during it. It is the one who lost the least after it. By the time Ramadan ends, one question begins to sit heavily in the heart of a sincere believer. Not, did I complete it? But, was it accepted? And this question cannot be answered directly. There is no message that comes to you, no sign written in the sky, no confirmation that says you have succeeded. So how does a person know? How does a believer find any sense of reassurance? The scholars have given us something powerful. They said, from the signs that a good deed has been accepted is that it leads to another good deed after it. This is not a guarantee, but it is a sign that what you did was real, that it reached your heart, that it was not just a temporary effort. So look at yourself after Ramadan, not emotionally, not based on what you hope, but based on what is actually happening. Do you still feel a pull toward Allah? Do you still feel uncomfortable when you miss a prayer? Do you still feel a desire to read Quran, even if it is less? Do you still hesitate before falling into something wrong? These are signs, small but powerful, because they show that Ramadan left something inside you, that it did not just pass over you, but passed through you. My brothers and sisters, continuation is not about perfection, it is about direction. You may not be the same as you were in Ramadan. Your energy may drop, your routine may change, your environment may not support you the same way. That is expected, but the direction should remain. The al-qalb should still be facing Allah, even if the steps are slower, even if the effort is smaller. As long as you are still moving toward Him, something is alive inside you. But the opposite is also true. If after Ramadan you feel nothing, no pull, no resistance to sin, no desire to maintain even the smallest act of worship, then you need to be honest with yourself, because that is not just a drop, that is a sign that something did not settle in your heart. And ignoring that sign will only make it worse. My brothers and sisters, many people think acceptance is about the past, about what they did in Ramadan. But in reality, acceptance shows itself in the future. It shows itself in what comes next. Because a sincere deed does not end when the action ends. It leaves an athar. It leaves a trace. It creates a path. And that path continues if the deed was real. So if you want to know where you stand, do not only look back, look forward. Look at your next steps, look at your choices, look at your consistency, because that is where the answer begins to reveal itself. And here is something important to understand. Even if you find yourself slipping, even if you feel like you are losing that momentum, that does not mean you are rejected. It means you are being tested, because continuation is not always smooth. There will be moments where you feel weaker, moments where your motivation drops, moments where your nafs pulls you back. But what matters is how you respond. Do you give up? Do you say, I lost it, it's over? Or do you return? Do you get up again? Do you try again, even if it feels difficult? Because every return is a sign of life. Every time you come back to Allah is a sign that your heart is still connected. And Allah loves that. He loves the one who keeps returning, not the one who is perfect, but the one who refuses to disconnect. My brothers and sisters, do not let shaitan deceive you after Ramadan. He will try to make you feel that if you cannot maintain everything, then there is no point in doing anything. He will try to turn your small effort into something insignificant in your eyes. He will make you think, what's the point of just one prayer done properly, or a few verses of Quran, or a small act of remembrance? But this is deception, because those small acts are exactly what keep you going. They are exactly what protect your connection. They are exactly what turn a temporary Ramadan into a lasting change. So never underestimate them, never abandon them, because they are more powerful than they appear. My brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, acceptance is something we hope for. We ask Allah for it, we beg Him for it, but we also look for its signs. And one of the clearest signs is continuation. A Ramadan that leads to another act of obedience, a month that leads to a lifestyle, an effort that leads to consistency. That is the sign, that is the hope, that is the evidence that something inside you was real. So protect that continuation, even if it is small, even if it is quiet, even if no one sees it, because it is not for people, it is for Allah. And in the end, my brothers and sisters, the one whose Ramadan was accepted is not the one who did the most in those 30 days. It is the one who continued even after those 30 days were gone. My brothers and sisters, Ramadan has ended, but your journey with Allah has not ended. These 30 days were never the goal. They were a fursa to wake up, a fursa to reset, a fursa to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than the life you were living before. Now, the question is simple. What will you do with what you were given? Will you carry it forward, or will you leave it behind? Because the reality is this: many people will celebrate Eid, but very few will carry Ramadan with them. Very few will protect what they built. Very few will remain changed after the month ends. And those are the ones who truly succeeded, not the ones who did the most, but the ones who continued. So do not be like those who returned to who they were before. Do not let your effort become a memory. Do not let your ibadat become something seasonal. Be different, even if it is in a small way. Hold on to something. Stay connected. Keep returning to Allah again and again, no matter how many times you fall. Because Allah does not look at how many times you fall. He looks at how many times you return. And as long as you keep returning, as long as your heart does not give up, as long as you are still trying, then there is hope. There is always hope. So step into Eid with joy, but also with awareness. Step into Eid with happiness, but also with humility. And most importantly, step into Eid with a decision that Ramadan will not be the end of your effort, but the beginning of a new life with Allah. Because in the end, my brothers and sisters, the true Eid is not the day you celebrate. The true Eid is the day you meet Allah and He is pleased with you.